Hey guys, Zach Summers here. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of a Google site that I've used in the past to help me collect student data. We're going to kind of start at the end and show you what the end product should be, and then I'll kind of give you the step-by-step of how to get there. So you have a Google site, have a landing page for you, put as many students as you want. You would scroll down, you would have a Google form with your data on it. For the sake of this, we're just doing behavior data, but I've used it for everything, academic, social behavior. But for the sake of this, it's going to be just quick and dirty. So this kid would have three goals, three behavior goals. You enter your goal here. It would automatically put it on your spreadsheet for you, and then it would automatically graph it for you too. So the goal is to help simplify it here. We got our trend line too. This is awesome. Go to ARD meetings. Depending on this one's staying safe, so trending down would be a good thing. Let's kind of show you how we got here. So the first step is going to be to make a data sheet. Traditionally, I've used a physical data sheet. Like I said, in this case, this is students with behavioral goals. They're taking this out to the classroom. Not only is this their data sheet, this is also their reinforcement as well. So here's kind of the data sheet that we've used traditionally in the past. Of course, you can customize it however you want. For this particular student, he would have three behavior goals, let's say, that we're tracking. He has a goal to stay safe. He has a goal to follow directions within 2 reminders, and he has a goal to complete his work. So this is kind of what his point sheet would look like. One of the reasons I like using Google Sheets for the point sheet, everything's kind of in their own little columns. And then when you want to print it, all you got to do is select everywhere that you want to print. And then right here, instead of current sheet, you're going to go to where you selected, and it's going to make it nice and pretty. So if you're kind of like obsessed with things kind of being structured and like me perfectly centered, that's a great way to do it. Whereas kind of Word documents get all funky. So this particular student, this is kind of what his point sheet would be. The student's taking it around to class. He gets to have that interaction after the end of class periods where teachers are kind of telling him what he's done good, maybe areas he needs to grow in. So this exact sheet, so there's step one. We got our data sheet, right? In this case, it's a physical one. We've tried digital in the past. It's so hit or miss on if teachers are going to fill it out. It's not tangible for students. So for behavior data and a student like this is kind of what we're going to do. Like I said, for the sake of this is just a student with a couple behavior goals, nothing academic. I've used this K through 12, so I use this when I worked in elementary, the middle school, up into high school as well. So we got our data sheet. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a Google form, and it's going to look exactly like the data sheet. So if you see right here, we're going to go preview. The student had three goals: stay safe, follow directions, complete work. All we did was make a Google form that looks exactly like this. So his data sheet, three goals, literally word for word, straight into a Google form. Okay, so now we have physical data sheet, we have a Google form that reflects that. Um, for the sake of this being quick and dirty, I'm not going to go into Google Forms and kind of how we do that. I'm just going to kind of give you the quick and dirty of how we get to having a Google site where we can have multiple kids, where the form is going to auto-populate to a sheet, sheet's going to auto-populate to a graph. Okay, so we're there, boom. Now we're making a Google Sheet with all the data. So if you're familiar with Google Forms, it's as easy as at the top, it's going to say responses. To have a form auto-generate over to a sheet, all you do is you click this. Now, we've already connected it, but if it's the first time you're doing it, just give you a little prompt. Hey, do you want to, connect a sheet over? You'd say yes and go. So let's kind of see where we're at. We have a physical point sheet the student's carrying around. We've made a goal form that's exactly the same. Now we have a Google Sheet that's going to have all the data on it. The next step would be to kind of clean up the data. So when you first make the form, the data is going to be everywhere. I kind of like it nice and neat. So I'm going to center some stuff, bold some stuff, just because you're going to be looking at this a lot. So you want to kind of make sure it looks nice. I auto-populated it with data for us. So for this student, staying safe is how many times has he been physically aggressive. So if he went a whole day, wasn't physically aggressive, he gets a 0. There are 0 times when he was unsafe. If he hit people, students, depending on what his goal is, he'd get a numerical number. Over here is a percentage. So depending on how your goals are written, this one is, he'd have an IEP goal. Student would be able to follow, directions within 2 reminders for blank percentage of the day. And so these are all percentages of his day. Same with completing work. I always like to tie in my IEP goals into my reinforcement, and then your data tracking is kind of done with you, where we're not creating multiple different things to do. So all 3 of these would be IEP goals. I'd word them so that his point sheet and his kind of reinforcement or her reinforcement reflects that. So let's kind of see where we are on our way to make. So have our data sheet, we have our Google form, we have a Google sheet that's going to put all of our data. We kind of cleaned it up. Now we need to make graphs. So if you've never done this before, it's super easy. So all you're going to do is you need 2 things to make a graph. You always need the date, and then you just need to pick one of the categories. So I've already done the safe one. So it's as easy as clicking a column, holding down Control, and clicking the other column. So once those 2 are selected, we're going to make a graph on it. And here's kind of what it would look like. So here's what the safe one looks like. I did the follow directions already. Let's do the last one, completing work in real time. So all you do is you click the header up top, hold down Control, and click the other one. Insert, chart. Okay, boom. We're pretty much created right here. So you'll see at the bottom, we have a ton of dates, and it's only pick and choose a couple. If you like that's fine. If you want to see every date, all you need to do is click right there, and that's going to give you every single date. As you can tell, it auto-recognized already that it's like 100 point or 100 percentage, 0 to 100. It's kind of done the work for us. Really, the only other thing you have to do is you click Customize, Series, and click a trend line. So you can see for this student, since we started tracking data to the current date, we're trending up. So obviously we don't want this hanging out in the middle of our main data page. So all we do is click up here. We're just going to move it to our own sheet. As you can tell, it automatically sent it over. And then of course I'm just going to change this one. So this goal is complete work. So now there we have it. Anytime we go to add in new data, it will auto-populate at the bottom. And it will also auto-update our graphs too. So let's see where we're at on this whole process. So we just made our graphs. So we have a Google form, we have our spreadsheet. Now we go, okay, cool. We need a kind of a place to house this because you're not going to just have one student. So you could star these in your drive, and that's fine. But if we can put in a Google site, we can have, I've had up to 30, 35 students, depending on kind of what we're tracking in a site. So if you never made a Google site before, literally all you gotta do is type in Google Sites. You're gonna click on that first one. And all you do, anytime I've ever done it, I just go with the blank profile. It kind of does it for you. You could get crafty if you want. Title list, whatever. Mine might be, okay. Mine might just be Mr. Summers' Classroom. Okay, so that would kind of be our landing page. So, I said you can have tons and tons of students. Nobody just has a student. That's where the pages essentially comes in. So we go pages, we're going to hit this little plus, and that's where you're just adding new students. So you might have, let's say you needed a ton. I always just put my students' initials up there. Okay, so there we go. You can add as many students as you want. If they're initials, it will be small. So you kind of have your landing page. Oh, I need to take data for this student. Okay, so we kind of got our site going. So here's kind of a little bit of what our template looks like. So I went in, this is kind of mine, right? So here's our landing page. I got my student up here. And if you scroll down, I've plugged it in for you, right? So that's how we kind of saw it when we started the video. I'm just going to leave those out and kind of show you how to do it. So if you scroll down, you can see there's nothing here. All you do is double click, and it's going to ask you, what do you want to add? We want to add something from the drive. So it's going to bring up your drive. Obviously, this gets a little tricky because you're going to have a ton of things. This is a brand new drive for me. So what we're going to put on the left side is our form that we made. So if you double click, it's going to insert it. So there's our form. We want it to take up a little less than half, so I'm just going to slide it over a little bit. Perfect. So now we have our form on one side. Now what do we want on the other side? The other side is where we want our data. For some reason, it always puts it up at the top. We're going to kind of slide it over. Because we want these right next to each other so that when we enter the form, we immediately see that it populates. Didn't go over enough. It's not going to let the other guy slide up. Okay, come on. Okay. All right, so you're going to fumble around. If you're like me, you're going to be obsessed with lining them up. So you want your form to be small, right? You don't need this to take up a lot of real estate because you're only putting in a couple goals. This one is where you want to be able to kind of see what's going on. So you're going to kind of size it down. You're going to spend way too much time obsessing that this could come on. Right? Because I mean, they got to be the same exact length. Oh. Right. So there's kind of what we look like. Let's see this thing in action. So, I mean, this could look a million different ways. You as a teacher, you could sit down at the end of the day, you could sit down at the week. When I was doing academic data in a resource classroom, sit down on Friday, I would have it, in a binder or whatever your normal system is, real quick transfer this over. And then at the end of the 9 weeks or end of the grading period, you can use it to take your averages. You can, sum up if you're looking, how many times they're aggressive, how many times they eloped. It's going to do that for you. Bring those graphs. I've also had as young as first grade, my students would enter this in. That would be, they're earning an end of the day break. Part of their checkout procedures is they take their sheet and they go and they enter it at the end of the day. So it kind of just depends what works for you. But what this would look like is you sit down, you put in the date. The nice thing about Leap, some people, it can just auto-populate the date. We're never always doing data, right on time or that date. So the Google form is going to have a date option. So I'm like, oh my gosh, totally messed up. I need to, 3 days ago, I forgot to do data. You can go and you can put that in, right? So let's just say it's tomorrow for the sake of it. Let's say the student had a perfect day. We weren't physically aggressive, followed all of our directions, completed all of our work. So once we hit submit, it'd be amazing if this would populate real time. Should do out the refresh. So there we are. There's our 116. 0 for the aggression. We're 100%, 100%. And then if we go all the way to the bottom, 116, we can see that's already graphed for us. So on all three of these, 116. Now this one got wonky because we have 2 dates that are 116. So you're like, oh my gosh, I messed up my data. You click up here, or right here. So this is reading that I put 116 twice and added them. See, oops. Let's pretend this was the 17th. But like I said, at the end of the 9 weeks or end of your grading period, okay, you can read. Oh. It's so impressive we put in new data. Let's say, hey, he has a goal under, I don't know, in 9 week grading period, he'll be physically aggressive less than 20 times, right? It's supposed to going through, just hit some, 44 times. Let's say, the goal was he'll follow directions within 75%. And of course the goals are not as simple as this. We're going to write them so, okay, change that to a percentage. We're going to write them, oh my goodness, 7,000%. All right, well, I think we get the gist here. If you guys kind of want some examples of what the goals look like so that we're aligning goals with reinforcement, with point sheets, that's kind of something we could talk about again. And really the big takeaway is we can automate this. It can be scaled to, like I said, 30, 35 students. I've done it for inclusion goals. I've all the way down to self-contained classrooms. It works for a little bit of everything. That was kind of the quick and dirty. I was hoping to stay under 15. We went over. I'll have to cut a little. Y'all take care.